Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning. We're on chapter 3 now, making wonderful progress. And let's start with Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girdhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girdhari, Yashodanandan Vrajjana Ranjan, Yashodanandan Vrajjana Ranjan, Yamuna Tiravanchari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Hari Bol. Okay. Let's share. Stop sharing this. Thank you. And we shall share this. Okay. So verse 1, chapter 3. And obviously the title of the chapter is that Krishna is the source of all incarnations. The sages wanted to know from Sutta Goswami about the incarnations. I think that was one of the questions they were asking. So now Krishna is going to, Sutta Goswami is going to explain about Krishna's incarnations. So Sutta Vacha, Jagre Pirosham Rupam, Bhagwan Mahad Adibhihi, Sambhutam Sodashakalam Adav Loka Sish Rakshaya. So Sutta Vacha, Sutta said, Jagre accepted Porusham, plenary portion as the Purusha incarnation. Rupam, form, Bhagwan, the personality of Godhead, Mahat Adibhihi, with the ingredients of the material world. Sambhutam, thus there was the creation of Shodasha Kalam, 16 primary principles. Adau, in the beginning, Loka, the universes, Sis Rakshaya, on the intention of creating. So the creating process begins here. Sutta Vacha, Jagre Purusham Rupam, Bhagwan Mahad Adibhi, Sambhutam Shodashakalam, Adau Loka Sis Rakshaya. Sutta said, in the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation and manifested all the ingredients for the material creation. At first there was the creation of the 16 principles of material action, which we will discuss. This was for the purpose of creating the material universes. So Krishna has done this so many times, for eternity. This is going on and off, material creation becomes manifested, and then it gets destroyed. It's sort of activated, deactivated, activated, deactivated, like that. So the Bhagavad-Gita states that the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, maintains these material universes by extending his plenary expansions. So this Purish form is the confirmation of the same principle. The original personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, or Lord Krishna, who is famous as the son of King Vasudeva or King Nanda, is full with all opulences, all potencies, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge and all renunciation. A part of his opulence is manifested as impersonal Brahman, and a part of his opulence is manifested as Paramatma. This Purish feature of the same personality Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the original Paramatma, manifestation of the Lord. So it's all Krishna's energies end of the day, whether it's Brahman or Paramatma expansions. This Purusha feature of the same personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the original Paramatma manifestation of the Lord. So that's Mahavishnu and the other Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Karandaksha Vishnu. There are three Purusha features in the material creation. And this form is who is known as Karanodaksha Vishnu, is the first of all the three. So the others known as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, which we shall know one after another. The innumerable universes are generated from the skin holes of the Karanodaksha Vishnu. He is the cause of the unlimited universes. And they come out of his skin holes. Even the scientists believe that the universe started as like a size of a golf ball, and then it's suddenly expanded like that. That's all they know, but they don't know anything, how that came about, or what's the source of that. They don't know. They can only tell you what was there and then how it changed, but they don't know the source, and they don't even want to find out the source. So the others are known as Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Kshirodaksha Vishnu, which we shall know one after another. This innumerable universe are generated from the skin holes of Karanadaksha Vishnu, and each one is one of the universal Lord, enters as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So each of the universes, the Lord enters as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So you have Karanadaksha Vishnu, all the universes, not just planets, the whole universes are coming out. Unlimited universes are coming out of his pores of his skin. So then they will expand, and then he expands himself as Garbhodaksha Vishnu and becomes the soul of that universe, each universe. So he'll go as the Garbhodaksha Vishnu and go into all the universes, expand in unlimited ways, and go in each universe and become the soul of the universe. So in the Bhagavad-Gita, it is also mentioned that the material world is created at certain intervals and then again destroyed. This creation and destruction is done by the Supreme Will because of the conditioned souls or Nitya Baddha living beings. The Nitya Baddha, or the eternally conditioned souls, have the sense of individuality or Hankar, which dictates to them sense enjoyment, which they are unable to have constitutionally. The Lord is the only enjoyer, because he says they are unable to have constitutionally, because that's not our constitutional position. So we cannot be the enjoyers in the spiritual world. There is only one boss. If all the employees want to be bosses as well, then they will have to be sacked. Really, you can't have everybody becoming the boss. There is only one CEO of the company. And if anybody else wants to be the CEO, then Krishna will arrange something for them so they can pretend to be the CEOs. Because eternally there is only one boss, and the sooner we accept that and we accept our position, then we're happier for it. If we keep thinking we are the boss, then we can't create anything, we can't do anything, we are tiny specks, and yet we want to be the bosses. It's just not possible, right? Just not possible. The Lord is the only enjoyer, and all others are enjoyed. And if you think about it, we all have to serve some boss, right? Whether it's at home or at work. We go out looking for work, we want a really good job, and then we have to put up with the boss there, and we might have to put up with his subordinates as well, right? We all have to do that. If we all want a good job, then we have a boss that we work for. So why not we surrender to Krishna and work for him? He's the best boss, because he's not going to exploit you, and at the same time, he's the father. You know, it's a family business. His father, who better to be your boss than your own father? Why you want to go out and work for others, or take the responsibility of being a boss when your father is the boss and you just work for him and he gives so much in return? So in the Bhagavad-Gita, it is also mentioned that the material world is created at certain intervals and then again destroyed. This creation done by free will because of the conditioned souls or Nitya Baddha living beings. The Nitya Baddha, or the eternally conditioned souls, have the sense of individuality or hankar, which dictates to them sense enjoyment, which they are unable to have constitutionally. The Lord is the only enjoyer and others are enjoyed. The living beings are predominated enjoyers. But the eternally conditioned souls, forgetful of this constitutional position, have strong aspirations to enjoy. The chance to enjoy matter is given to the conditioned souls in the material world. Because we can't enjoy spiritual world, so we can go and enjoy the material world. And side by side, they're given the chance to understand their real constitutional position, as well as getting rehabilitated as well. Okay, look, you're here, enjoy, but really this is not where you should be. You're in foreign territory here. Those fortunate living entities who catch the truth and surrender onto the lotus feet of Vasudeva after many, many births in the material world join the eternally liberated souls and thus are allowed to enter the kingdom of Godhead. After this, such fortunate living entities need not come back within the occasional material creation. So we also become eternally liberated souls once we are in the spiritual world. Here we are eternally conditioned souls in the material world. But those who cannot catch the constitutional truth are again merged into the Mahatattva at the time of the annihilation of the material creation. When the creation is again set up, this Mahatattva is again let loose. This Mahatattva contains all the ingredients of the material manifestations, including the conditioned souls. So the Mahatattva contains the material souls as well. We are part of the Mahatattva. Primarily, this Mahatattva is divided into 16 parts, namely the 5 gross material elements and the 11 working instruments or senses. It is like the cloud in the clear sky. In the spiritual sky, the effulgence of Brahman is spread all around, and the whole system is dazzling in spiritual light. The Mahatattva is assembled in some corner of the vast, unlimited spiritual sky. So it's like a very small fragment compared to the whole, the spiritual world. This Mahatattva is just tiny. Namely, the 5 gross material elements, or instruments, working instruments or senses. It is like the cloud in the clear sky. In the spiritual sky, the effulgence of Brahman is spread all around, and the whole system is dazzling in spiritual light. The Mahatattva is assembled in some corner of the vast unlimited spiritual sky, and the part which is thus covered by the Mahatattva is called the material sky, or the material cloud, as is mentioned. This part of the spiritual sky, called the Mahatattva, is only an insignificant portion of the whole spiritual sky. And within this Mahatattva, there are innumerable universes. All these universes are collectively produced by the Karanadaksha Vishnu, called also Mahavishnu, who simply throws his glance to impregnate the material sky. Jai. Let's pray. Om Agyantimdasya Gyananjana Shlakya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Samrupa Akadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sagana Raghunathramitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Prishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shiva Shakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Ishwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatu Brihescha Kripa Sindhu Mevacha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravan Pachanindi Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukam Kroti Vacham Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kripatam Mandashi Gurundin Taranam Paramnanda Madhvam Shitataneshram Hariyam Tassat Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasvityasam Tato Jemaduriyat Nashta Paresha Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtaki Hare Krishna. So, it's explained here about how the creation starts with the three Purusha avatars of the Lord, and Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So he explains that Krishna is the source, he is the original candle, and from that other candles or his reincarnations are lit. They all have the same potency, but they will only use the potency that is required at that time, place and circumstance. Like the three Purushas, although they are Krishna as expansion, but they will only use what is necessary for them to use. And so this material world is created, as we discussed so many times, to correct those living entities about their mistakes and reestablish a loving relationship with the Lord. So we sort of gone off the track, is to bring us back on track, to recognize our position and bring back the loving relationship that we had with Krishna. So I think a lot of this we have discussed in the purport. We are continuously bound in this material world because we don't want to learn that constitutionally we are enjoyed and not the enjoyer. There's only one enjoyer. We discussed that. So we are all Prakriti, and there is only one real Purusha. Krishna is the Purusha, we are Prakriti, or the enjoyed. Prakriti, another word for Prakriti is we are enjoyed. And there's an example here, or some little pastime. So when Rupa Goswami was there in Vrindavan with his bhajan, Mirabai, we all know about Mirabai. She was obviously a very devout devotee of Lord Krishna, and she has made so many songs and bhajans. So Mirabai went to see Rupa Goswami, right, one of the 6 Goswamis, and Rupa Goswami refused to see her. Although she was so popular, she's famous all over, but he didn't want to meet her because he said that he doesn't see any women. He doesn't want any contact. They were completely renounced. They want no contact, communication with any woman. Because they were like very, very strict. So Mirabai, she was a Kshatriya. She would challenge everything. If she thought she was in the right, she would challenge it. So she challenged that, and she sent a message that I came to Vrindavan because I know that only Krishna is Purusha here. So she went to Vrindavan because only Krishna is Purusha. And now suddenly, how come there's other Purushas coming out? Because she's saying that only Krishna is Purusha, so there's no difference between me and you. And everyone is a woman. Everyone else is a gopi. So now it seems that there's another Purusha here. So she's saying to Rupa Goswami, so you think you're a Purusha, that you don't want to see a woman. So you must think you're a Purusha then. And after hearing this, Rupa Goswami realized his mistake. Purusha means enjoyer and Prakriti means the instrument of enjoyment. And then he met her. Amazing, isn't it, that Mirabai, she could correct Rupa Goswami, who was so empowered by Lord Chaitanya and one of the 6 Goswamis of our times. And Mirabai, she managed to correct him and he accepted it. It's not that, it's not like some people will refuse that, I'm so renounced, I'm this, that I'm not going to accept what you're saying. He accepted his mistake graciously and he met her with her. So we were talking about this because I just want to show you if it's still available. Let's see. Okay. So these 16 elements we were talking about, I think we see them here. So the 16 elements discussed in the purport that are created, for the creation itself, 16 elements are, first of all, Panchabhuta. In the yellow here, Panchabhuta, 5 gross elements, which contain, this is what we are made of. Our gross body is made of these five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These are 5 elements, and they get subtle and subtle. Earth is the least subtle, most gross, you could say, and then less is water, and then less is fire, and less is air, and then finally ether. In the gross elements, that's how they get less and less gross. That's your Panchabhuta, and then you got your Gyan Indriya, the 5 working senses, or rather 5 knowledge acquiring senses, So eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. So the eyes, they see the form, or the rupa, or they call the tan matras, the objects of senses. So eyes see a form, ears hear a sound, shabad, the nose smells, gandha, tongue tastes, rasa, and tongue also speaks as well, vibrates, and the skin, sparsha, touch. So these 5, so Panchabhuta, 5 gross elements, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and then you get the 5 karma indriya, the working senses, which include hands, legs, voice, the anus, and the genitals. So 1, 2, 3 times 5, 15. So what is the 16th element, or the activity, field of activity? That's the mind, here in the red here. So 16. We'll discuss the other subtle and causal in the later stage, but for now, these are the 16 elements that were discussed in the purport. Hare Krishna. So we're going to text 2. Yasyamsi shanasya yoga nidram vitanvataha nabi hridam bhujad asid brahma vishsarjam patihi. So yasya, whose, ambasi, in the water, shayanasya, lying down, yoga nidram, sleeping in meditation, vitanvatha, ministering, nabi, navel, hrida, out of the lake, ambujat, from the lotus, asit, was, manifested, Brahma, the grandfather of the living beings, Vishva, the universe, Sirjam, the engineers, Pathi, master. So Krishna's he's got a yard full of materials and he tries to activate them, but then he needs some engineers as well. He's calling the engineers to get things. So he provides materials and the engineers come and create something with that. So a part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe from the navel lake of his body. So this is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, from the navel lake of his body. Amazing. Sprouts a lotus stem And from the lotus flower atop the stem, so there's a lotus flower on top of this stem that sprouts from his navel, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest. So who is the lucky one? Because there's different Brahmas, when one Brahma dies, then another one comes, there is somebody else. A lot of people get a chance to become Brahma. So Brahma is a living entity, just like us. Or we could have been Brahma as well in our past life. So some lucky soul will become Brahma. The first Purusha is the Karanodakshaya Vishnu. From his skin holes, innumerable universes have sprung up. In each and every universe, the Purusha enters as the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He is lying within the half of the universe which is full with water of his body. So the universe starts as like an empty shell, right? It's an egg, empty egg kind of thing. And then this the Purusha, the Karanodakshaya Vishnu, needs to lie on something. There's nothing to lie on, He wants to lie down. So from his sweat, he fills up the Brahmand, the universe, with water from his pores. So much water comes out, and then he floats on that. He lies on the causal ocean, which is full with water of his body. And from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu has sprung the stem of the lotus flower. The birthplace of Brahma. So, who is the father of all living beings and the master of all the demigod engineers engaged in the perfect design and working of the universal order? So, Brahma has got his own engineers, he's working for him. He's the chief engineer. Then he has got his other engineers who work under him, all the demigods. Within the stem of the lotus, there are 14 divisions of planetary systems, which we will discuss later. And the earthly planets are situated in the middle. So there's 14, and the seventh one is us. Seventh one from the bottom is our planetary system or solar system. So upwards there are other better planetary systems. So higher you go, the more better conditions you get. It's like we're discussing the prison. So if you can go into a higher planet and get better conditions, maybe a bigger room, softer bed, a TV like that in a prison, they might give you these facilities, better food, but they're still inside the prison. And the earthly planets are situated in the middle, upwards. Okay, yeah. And the topmost system is called Brahmalok or Satyalok. Downwards from the earthly planet systems, there are 7 lower planet system inhabited by the Asuras and similar other materialistic living beings. So downwards from the earthly planets, there are 7. Okay, so we are 7 from the top. That means we are 7 from the top, and then there's another 7 below us, inhabited by the Asuras and similar other materialistic living beings. So conditions get worse as you go down. From Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, there is an expansion of the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, there's expansion of the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the collective Paramatma of all living beings. So Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the Paramatma of the universe, super soul of the universe, and then he expands into many Paramatmas into each atom. He is called Hari, and from him all incarnation within the universes are expanded. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Purusha avatar is manifested in 3 features. First, the Karanodakshaya who creates aggregate material ingredients in Mahatattva. Second, the Garbhodakshaya who enters in each and every universe. And third, the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of every material object, organic or inorganic. One who knows these plenary features of the personality Godhead knows Godhead properly. And thus the knower becomes freed from the material conditions of birth, death, old age, and disease, as it is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita. So, Bhakta Mam Abhijanati. That's the verse in Bhagavad-Gita. Then, if you know that, then you are freed from. And this is also Janma Karma Chame Divyam, that has to do with the pastimes. In the shloka, the subject matter of Mahavishnu is summarized. The Mahavishnu lies down in some part of the spiritual sky by his own free will. Thus, he lies on the ocean of Karana. So, the Karana ocean, or the causal ocean, sometimes called, from where he glances over his material nature, and the Mahat Tattva is at once created. Thus, electrified by the power of the Lord, the material nature at once creates innumerable universes. Electrified by the power of the Lord, the material nature so becomes activated, right? And once creates innumerable universes, just as in due course a tree decorates itself with innumerable grown fruits, the seed of the tree is sown by the cultivator, and the tree or creeper in due course becomes manifested with so many fruits. Nothing can take place without a cause. So Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the original cause. The Karan ocean is therefore called the causal ocean. Karan means causal. We should not foolishly accept the atheistic theory of creation. The description of the atheist is given in Bhagavad-Gita. The atheist does not believe in the creator, but he cannot give a good theory to explain the creation. So this is what I'm saying. The scientists, they understand that much, that the universe is like golf ball size, and then they sort of expanded very quickly into bigger versions of themselves. But they don't know how those golf balls came about. That's, where did they come from? They didn't just, just appear out of nothing. There was a cause for them. So material nature has no power to create without the power of the Purusha, just as Prakriti or woman cannot produce a child without the connection of a Purush or man. The Purusha impregnates and the Prakriti delivers. We should not expect milk from the fleshy bags on the neck of a goat, although they look like breastly nipples. Similarly, we should not expect any creative power from the material ingredients. They're dead matter. They cannot do anything by themselves. They have to be activated. We must believe in the power of the Purusha, who impregnates Prakriti or nature, because the Lord wished to lie down in meditation. The material energy created innumerable universes at once. So Krishna only has to glance and everything's taken, he takes shape. Whether he glances or his expansions glance, things just happen. That's all they need to do. He doesn't need to get up and, you start using his arms and legs and hands. He just glances and everything takes place. And thus all the planets and the different paraphernalia were created at once by the will of the Lord. So he only has to will and everything's created. The Lord has unlimited potencies, and thus he can act as he likes by perfect planning. Although personally, he says here, look, although personally he has nothing to do. No one is greater than or equal to him. That is the verdict of the Vedas. Krishna has nothing to do. But yet, he does so much just by his glance. And look how much he does. The whole idea of talking about the creation is that just to appreciate Krishna, how much trouble. If we weren't rebellious children, then he wouldn't have to go through all this. He has to create so many incarnations, has to create, the Purusha Avatar has so many planets, universes, just so we can be happy. Krishna wants to see us happy, but at the same time, he tells us, look, what you think is happiness is not real happiness. So please, try to understand. But yet he goes into so much trouble. So, we could have somewhere to live, somewhere to simulate our non-constitutional position. So amazing. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Okay. So yasya vayava samsthanihi kalpito loka vistarha tadvai bhagavato rupam vishuddham sattvam urjitam. So yasya, whose avyayav, avyava, bodily expansion, samsthanihi, situated in, kalpitaha is imagined, loka, planets of inhabitants, vistarha, various, tat way, but that is Bhagavata, or the personal Godhead, Rupam, form, Vishuddham, purely, Sattvam, existence, Ujitam, excellence. So yasya vayava samsthanihi kalpito loka vistarha tadvai bhagavato rupam Vishuddham Sattvam Ujitam. It is believed that all the universal planet systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. So let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport about this. The conception of the Virat Roop or Vishrup of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality Godhead. So talking about the Virat Roop here, to him a form means something of this material world. So some people don't believe that there's such thing as God as a person. They see the cosmos as God or nature as God itself. For them there is the Virat Roop. They can worship that. And therefore an opposite conception of the Absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends his potency in the form of the Mahatattva, which includes all material ingredients. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord himself personally are one in one sense. But at the same time, the Mahatattva is different from the Lord. Therefore, the potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different, as the Lord Chaitanya explained, Veda Abeda. The conception of the Virat Rupa, especially for the impersonalist, is thus non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. This eternal form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of the Mahatattva. And it is stressed here that the eternal form of the Lord is par excellence, spiritual or transcendental to the modes of material nature. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by his internal potency, and the formation of his multifarious manifestations of incarnations is always of the same transcendental quality without any touch of the Mahatattva. So just explaining about the difference between material, the inferior energy and the superior energy of the Lord. There's two different, and obviously we, the third energy, the marginal energy, who can't make up the mind whether you want to be material or you want to be spiritual. So yeah, so that's our free will. So Srila Prabhupada explains that just like you can't separate the sun and sun rays, you cannot separate the energy and the energetic. The universal form is meant for neophytes who can't think the Lord can have a form. They believe in the cosmos and Mother Nature. Yeah, we get a lot of people like that. Gradual elevation, all the creation is seen as the Virat Rupa. So yeah, I mean, I've spoken to people even before coming to Krishna consciousness. You know, like whether you are doing some sadhana or not, from time to time you discuss with people, do you believe in God? Do you believe in God? I believe in this, I believe in that. I believe in Mata, I believe in Jesus Christ, I believe in Shiva. Everybody believes in something. Or I believe in the impersonal Brahman. I believe, I believe in the Brahm Jyoti. People tell you different things. And there are people who say, well, I know there's a supreme power. There's definitely a power. But not as people say that, God is a person, is some man. I don't believe in that. I think the nature itself, that is God. That's like doing everything. The nature is God. So for people who think like that, there is this. So Krishna has something for everyone. It's not like one size fits all. He has something for everyone. Krishna can be anything you want. So if you want to believe that nature is God, then you can see the 14 planetary systems as the top, middle, and the bottom of Krishna, and also his back as well. So the Virat Rupa is Krishna. Imagine him, or rather, not Krishna in this instance. He's God. He's the supreme, and the higher planets are the head, and then you got his middle and his legs like that. We'll discuss that later on. The 14 planet systems are divided into the body of God, basically. So thank you so much. Let's have a quick discussion. I hope that made some kind of sense, and love to hear from you. Hari Hari Bol. Jai. Thank you all so much, and thank you, Suresh Prabhu, for joining today. It's nice to meet you yesterday. And who do we have? Pundikaksh Prabhu. Hari Hari Bol. Missed you yesterday, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please, let's start with yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. I mean, this topic is very difficult, very difficult topic to digest also. But we can see how merciful the Lord is. So as you said, there can be only one boss. And if you want to be a boss, then he is creating a separate world for us. But to enjoy also, but at the same time, there is also a provision to realize the constitutional position and come back home, back to Godhead as well. So you can see how merciful the Lord is. So when we are reading this text, one of the Prabhuji said, and I remember, like, we always know that God is great, but how much the God is great can be understood from these three verses. So Purusha Avatar, he is expanding his expansions, and beyond this, we have that 4 expansions again, quadruple expansion, and from quadruple, like from Lord Balram, we get Aniruddha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, and then again 4, again Mahavishnu comes, and from there we have Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Kirodaksha Vishnu. And I just feel like how you unfold a blanket in the night and again we fold it in the morning. So in the same way, everything is under the control of the time of Lord Krishna. So everything gets annihilated, and I'm Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu, as in Bhagavad-Gita it said, like, our body is made up of these 16 elements, and especially the 5 elements which are earth, water, ether, fire, air. And I was listening to a class on it's mentioned about Ekadashi, and Ekadashi generally we feel like, okay, I can't refrain from grains, and somebody say, no, I can't do water fasting, I cannot do nirjal, but actually to keep the body nourished by all the elements like earth, water, ether, fire, air, the fasting is really required. Then the body will be nourished. That's what he was saying. Even the fire element to be nourished, that fasting is required. Something like that. That's all, Prabhuji, from here. Like we are amazing to know that we are actually separated parts and parcels of the Lord, and we have got the same qualities, but quantity is very minute. And we are seeing, like, with the very minute independence itself, we have fallen down to the material world. So if at all we get a full independence, then what else we can do actually? We are not able to handle even a minute independence, and come into this material world suffering, and not realizing this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for absolutely. And all these, look, we are how much Krishna, like, there's so many elements involved, so many things involved, so many demigods. He has to have an engineer and chief engineer, so many engineers, and then they have to run the system for 311 trillion years, right?
Mm.
In a lifetime of Brahma. So much trouble Krishna goes into. This is the beauty of this, what we are learning, because nobody else gives us that information. Nobody else has that information. Srila Prabhupada provided every little detail for us, so we can really appreciate what Krishna does for us. Thank you, Prabhuji. Deepu Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babuji. When I started doing my medical degree, in the first year, there are 2 very important subjects known as anatomy and physiology. And I think this is the anatomy and physiology of, all our Vedic system. Means telling us from scratch that how not only just our universe, but the whole of the creation has been made. So anatomy, like for example, it encompasses how our body is and what all nerves are there or cells are there and everything, and how these things function. That is physiology. So while we were obviously reading these verses yesterday, and I was reading those verses in preparation for class today, I did click a picture of where it says about the Karnodakshay Vishnu and Kshirodakshay Vishnu and Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and send it to a couple of my family, just family only, not friends, because not everybody can understand that. Just show them that this is from where everything starts. This is from where everything emanates. I think a very very important subject that should be, at least this should be taught up in all the schools and colleges, especially in India, because as I normally say, that we have been brought up with that false idea of this, that there is a Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, and they are the creators, and Shiva destroyers, and Brahma is the older one. He kind of maintains, and Vishnu is the one who does it. But this clears all the concepts, that from how Krishna created each and everything. And like you rightly said, that even though the scientists agree that okay, the universe is, they started as a golf ball, as a minute particle, and then they ultimately expanded, but nobody is able to answer how that minute particle came into being, like a chicken and egg kind of a story. But they don't have the answer, that how is that it just can't just erupt. Like I was listening to one of the Prabhupada's lectures, he said that okay, here's this machine, can you make two machines or three machines? And scientists have been, like for example, even within the medical science, they have been trying to regenerate cells for cancer cure, for diabetes cure, everything. And even though we are advancing, they still not have been able to do it to date. So that just clearly shows the beauty of Krishna's creation. A bit of mind boggling concept to understand, only because of the reason, because that our minds have been so occupied with the wrong kind of material. And when you have to wash away those things, that okay, there is only, not only one Vishnu, there are three Vishnus. And then there is main one is the Karnodakshay or the Mahavishnu, and then there is Garbhodakshay, and then there's Paramatma element, which is within our hearts. You have to go through those paragraphs two, three, four times. And the best thing that I felt easy to understand was that the cover of the first canto, it beautifully depicts all these in pictures. And on the second and third page, they have easily explained what those, all of those eight elements are. For example, there is this Goloka, and then there is Brahma Jyoti, and then there is Vaikuntha planets, and then there is, this is Mahavishnu, and this is Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and this Karnodakshay Vishnu, and this is your universe. I think that clears the concept. I still have that picture kind of now embedded into my mind. So a beautiful concept to learn. Beautiful concept. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for explaining. Yes, we always think Vishnu is God, and everything, Krishna came from Vishnu, like that. That's how most people have understood it. But there's not just one Vishnu. There's three, like you say, three Vishnus. You got the Mahavishnu and the Garbhodaksha Vishnu and the Kshirodaksha Vishnu. And this is going. There's Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Kshirodaksha Vishnu in every universe. There's like unlimited Vishnus. They all come from the original Vishnu, the Karandaksha Vishnu, and then Garbhodaksha Vishnu is in every universe. There's like, so that's to explain that Krishna does not come from Vishnu. Vishnu comes from Krishna, and Krishna is the original Vishnu, right? Krishna himself. All the other Vishnus are coming from him. So this clears that point, that he is the cause of all the Vishnus. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, very nice verses that we've covered here, which details the details of creation, essentially, which are outlined, which is so wonderful, and at the same time so mind blowing at the same time. I was just contemplating about Mahavishnu, how he almost for such a very long period of time, he almost has to remain the same, and he doesn't deplete. He's unchanged throughout, in terms of his role in the creation the entire like material manifestation essentially. And I remember listening to the lecture around, because I think people were challenging the whole concept of Mahavishnu, and how how would he not over time get tired? Would he not would he not deplete some of his energy, etc. And yeah, it was just very very inspiring essentially that Mahavishnu remains exactly the same. Nothing is there's no depletion. It doesn't. There's no like with like if you were to say a normal jiva was to continuously provide that level of support, that level of what's the word I'm looking for, creation, that power and that force that's required to create universes, etc. You'd have thought that there'd be some depletion. And there was a whole lecture on this. I remember listening to a very long time ago, but it was just amazing. It just goes to show that it just reflects on the glory of the Lord essentially. But yeah, that was all I needed to say. Thank you so much, Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. I think your the signal is not very good. But just I'm like, yeah, I mean, end of the day, from what I understand, there's like so much going on in the background. We only know about our own lives, little space or this little world that we create for ourselves. But so much goes on in the background to maintain this small world, the macro level and the micro level, how it's maintained. Krishna takes care of all that. Thank you, Parveen Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I don't have anything to add really, but it's just Krishna's mercy for creating this material world for us to realize what is our constitutional position, so we can go back. And it is just amazing how everything is created, how it starts with all the three Purushas. And so I still got to understand this properly. So I was going to ask Deepak Prabhu, if you can share, because I always say, I really need a simplified form, because my daughter was like, my older daughters, because they are not coming to Krishna consciousness. So, because like I'm trying to tell Krish about Krishna, and then she said, no, it's Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, so I would really like to explain it to them as well, but I need to understand myself first before I can teach them. So if anybody's got in a simplified form, so I'm looking forward to hear from Ajay Prabhu as well. So thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, there's not just one aspect. There's so many different aspects to it, and you can try and understand a lot of it or little of it, but it's quite involved. I mean, I don't understand most of it, but we get the idea, like Pandita Prabhu says, but we get the idea that Krishna is doing a lot for us, and
Yes.
we have to be just appreciate it. Don't necessarily have to understand the whole thing. We have to just appreciate it, but we'll try and understand as much as we can as we go through. I think there'll be like further discussions on this. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, but it all makes sense, when you're reading and you're listening. So yeah, then it does make sense, but it's hard to explain, remember everything.
We might not understand in detail, but we get the point that there's three, Mahavishnu, everything emanates from him, and Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters and activates this universe, etc., and then it expands into small Paramatmas into everybody's body, takes lada. So we get the picture, we get the outline of what's going on here, and then Brahmaji also manifested, and he will engineer thing like a tree. All the fruits will manifest on the tree like that. He will color. He's the artist. He's the engineer who will provide everything for us. And obviously that. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can I just add that, Mataji, if you look at the cover of the first canto, and the cover explains each and everything beautifully. And on the second or the third page, as we open the book, on the third page, it has subdivided all those into 8 categories. And if you keep on looking at the cover and then the explanation on what those 8 categories are, that will like come as an imprint in your mind permanently. That makes understanding this concept easy. Yes, otherwise, as I said, it's quite a complicated concept, because again, Not because Krishna is complicated. Obviously, he's very simple. It is just that because our minds have been complicated by the wrong kind of things that we have learned from from our younger age. So if you just remember that cover, you'll be easily able to correlate all of this, and I think that's the easiest way that this can be done.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that. Yes, please share anything that helps. Thank you so much. Suresh Prabhu, would you like to add something? Okay, we can go to Ajay. Go to Rai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this is seemingly quite a complex topic, but the problem is, I think a lot of the devotees have stated that it's complicated because we are applying it from our limited perspective. The idea of different universes, different entities, that seems beyond us in terms of we just think this is it, whatever we can see. But as we understand from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that there are innumerable other universes and they're a lot bigger than us as well, a lot more capable in a lot of ways. So this mercy from Krishna and from his expansions, the Vishnus, it is truly great because if we was left to us, if we had to deal with someone who's not interested in reciprocating our love, who's not interested in having a relationship, we'd think, okay, well, leave you to it. Why would bother with you? But Krishna ensures that whatever your stage, whatever your ability, wherever you are maintained by him, even to the point where not only does innumerable universes come out of Mahavishnu, but Acharya Vishnu, he enters into each universe, and if necessary, he takes on the role as Brahma as well. So he will create. So it's ongoing. There's no sense that you're never in a state where you are left alone, even to the point of Paramatma, where he enters into each living being and witnesses and sanctions their activities. That is what's truly incredible about Krishna, that you are always maintained. Krishna is always your well-wisher, and it's just really up to you to, as give an example of two birds on a tree. The Paramatma is on your left or such a thing, or left or right, whatever. But he's going to look towards him, and then your spiritual journey begins. Then you actually understand your constitutional position. So it's not a complicated thing once you appreciate it. It's just actually willing to open your mind and accept there's more to life than just you live, you die, and that's it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, the wider picture. I'm going to see the wider picture here. Radharani, you want to add something?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yes, what a beautiful start to the week. We're learning about the creation. We see it all around us. And because we are small-minded, we only, as conditioned souls, we are most of the time just worried for me and mine. So we can't see beyond. I think that is our biggest problem. And whatever we can't see, we think it doesn't exist. Whatever we can't hear, we think that doesn't exist. When we see, like dogs, they can hear the noises which we can't hear, and then makes us wonder. So there is something that more than our hearing, there is some superior hearing also in this world. And similarly with respect to vision, some birds they can see from miles and miles away in the sky. They can look at their prey and they can
infrared as well.
Amazing, isn't it? And so this is it. We just think we are kind of our own Brahmas, isn't it? In our own world, what we have created, what we are surrounded with, we think that is the only existing thing. But amazing when you just, when you are sometimes in a relaxed mood, just sitting in your garden, or maybe sitting, when you are in there is this perfect state of mind in all of us, sometimes in a day or in a month, when we really relaxed and we just look at the creation, and we will just marvel at even a flower, that no flower is similar to other one, and no vegetable is similar to other one, whether it's appearance or taste or anything. And similarly, when we look at human beings, everybody has got, similar structure outwardly when we look at them, but they're also different. So Krishna has given so much choices to fulfill our desires, and we are the smallest of the universes, and so much has been provided in this mustard-sized universe compared to the other universes. So never mind the other universes. And what to speak of the spiritual sky? We can't even fathom that what is in there. So it is very simple, this creation thing. But yes, I would agree with the Deepak Prabhu and Praveen Mataji. When we start hearing all this, at the beginning it seems, I was really amazed. I remember first time I heard about these three Purushas, and I also made a sketch in my head. Okay, it goes like that. And the more you hear, the more you read from others, their interpretations, the ones who have understood it properly, it becomes more and more clear that now it's very, very clear in my head that how all this started. So Krishna has created everything for us rebellious children, like it's been said aptly by Narayan Keshav Prabhu in the class. And we, the rebellious ones, we don't understand why this has been created. We want to enjoy, and I always think that we want to enjoy, but we haven't got the appetite for enjoyment either. We get tired, don't we? We need rest after so many hours of even enjoyment. And same with respect to working. And Krishna, he labors tirelessly. Well, he doesn't labor. He hasn't got to do anything. He just has to blink his eye or just look at something, and things are created and destroyed and everything. Because he's got so many people, so many executives, or what should I call them? But he's got so much managers underneath him who are who are executing all kinds of duties. So this is vast, this is difficult, but like Gauranga has a Mahaprabhu whose appearance day is coming next week. He has so much simplified for us by saying that he's Achinta, this is Achinta Abheda Bheda, simultaneously different and still the same. So those of you who are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can just relate to it, that everything is different, looks different, these Purushas are different, coming from Krishna. Because we had some wrong notions as we're growing up, going to the Karmi temples who were not giving straightforward explanations to us, so we understand it in a different way. But everything coming from Krishna looks different. It is same because the potency, the quality of the ingredients are similar, even in the tiniest of the living being and the biggest of the mightiest of the living entity. So if you understand it like that, you have to take a few notions in your head. Like Krishna had to come as Gauranga because Krishna knew that these living entities won't take notice of these big explanations in the coming Kali Yuga. So he has even simplified, and plus the revival of the Bhagavatam, and plus our Srila Prabhupada making it more simplified for us, and the gurus even the present times who have made the charts. If you haven't got the chart, you should access to one of the charts in the Google, or even buy it if you can, where you can see there's a Karanodakshaya Vishnu lying in the causal ocean. Then you can see the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu coming from, is also lying there. Lakshmi ji is doing the seva, and then Brahma ji sprouting from his navel, like it was beautifully described. Lake, that made me think, yes, we always think that Brahma ji is just coming out of Krishna, Garbhodakshaya's navel, but his navel is the size of God, not what a mighty lake. And each universe has got that particular Vishnu, that particular the Paramatma, the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. There's innumerable of them. So if you get access to that chart, that is going to make your life so easy. I'll try to, or maybe Ajay can share one of those pictures in the group so we can see, and all of you should buy a chart, because you'll have to see that chart on and off. In our house, we have gotten on the wall. Acharya got it years ago from Radhadesh, because he was so happy to see that in Belgium, Karanaksha Vishnu just lying there, and he understood it, and he just decided there and then that he's going to have that. And there's so much explanation in it that the more I look at it, the more I learn. It takes years and years to, because of the size of our heads, the minds, and our conditioning, we like to believe things, what we have read in science when we're growing up in school and colleges. And there is more than meets the eye. So yes, this is fascinating. This chapter is going to unfold so much to us. So thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. And thank you all so much. We'll catch up again on Wednesday and continue with this. We'll do shloka 4 and 5 and look forward to that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. If Ajay Prabhu can share the image or the link where we can get it from, Mataji.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Bhaktivedanta ki jai.